It's heartbreaking that every year 1 million babies die from prematurity, and 75% of those babies that die could have been saved by a simple intervention like heating the baby in an incubator. And I'm joined today by two people that are trying to solve that problem. I have James, who is the founder of mOm Incubator, and Gemma, who is the company's design engineer. They've come up with an incubator which is compact and portable and is accessible to the world. And so I'm so excited to have you both here to talk about your incubator. You've gone from an idea to a prototype to an actual incubator that has children going into it, tiny little babies who are being saved because of your product. So really well done, and thank you so much for joining me today. James, it's been 5 years since we invested in you guys.
Yeah.
It's been a great journey. I mean, we've gone from having a prototype to an actual incubator to more recently an actual baby in an incubator.
Actually impacting a life. Yeah.
Amazing, that is so good. Can you tell us about that journey, about where the idea came from and where you are now?
Of course, the idea originated in university. I'm a product designer by training. I watched a documentary that had a 5-minute segment that explained that because they lacked these, what they thought were relatively simple medical devices around the world, they're effectively losing entire generations. And it's crazy. You look more into the numbers, 1 million children die every year, but 1 in 10 babies are born premature. So it's a problem that affects millions of people around the world. I know yourself being one of them. And there's a real personal connection to it for me as well, because I wouldn't be here without one. My mum was in an incubator. I've got pictures of her in the 60s and one of the first incubators in the UK. So just one of these, round circle things. It was a bit crazy.
I mean, as you say, I was an incubator. My twins were in incubators. They were born at 33 weeks and 5 days, so they would have had difficulty surviving without it. But when I was in the hospital, what really strikes you is these machines are massive that the kids are in. They're really big, they're really chunky, and they don't move very easily. And I just love the fact that your incubator that you've designed is just so much more easy to transport. Was that your main sort of thought process when you were designing it, that it has to be transportable and to be able to be used all over the world? What was the sort of thing that sort of came to you first?
I think there are many things that go into this incubator that make it applicable for situations all around the world, whether it be in the UK, outside of the NICU, or I guess more in emerging markets where it becomes standards of care. But that was one of the main points. I mean, even delivering these systems, you can imagine these coming in massive wooden crates on the back of lorries. I mean, that's just difficult to get anywhere, whether it be off the M25 or in the middle of Uganda. It's challenging. So yeah, definitely one of the main aspects. It's quite fun being able to, show someone like you an entire incubator system that I've bought in a suitcase. And people in neonatal units across the country really gravitate to that as well. You can see their eyes light up when you show them an incubator that's bought up from the stairs. They've never seen it before.
So this is an incubator?
This is a full incubator.
I can't believe it, and it fits on my coffee table.
It fits on your coffee table, so you can imagine these being sent anywhere around the world that needs them. Really easy to compact and store. So you get an instruction manual, an RFID. So they all come with a dust cover, which protects the insides of the system.
How did you come up with the name?
With mOm?
Yeah.
My original logo was a circle with a shape of a baby inside of it. And I couldn't think of a name for the incubator at uni. And my friend comes up behind me and says, "Oh, it's almost like a surrogate William, isn't it?" And then mOm fit, and because I was very late in terms of my degree, I put M&M on the outside. It works really well.
It does, it's such a good idea.
So, plugs. There's the main base unit. Get everything you need. Really simple to assemble. Side panels in. Put the top on. And ever since the start of designing this, we've been really focused on the user and how easy it is for them to assemble. So we've had a lot of testing on how this is used by clinicians, because ultimately if they can use this system simply, then they're going to be able to do their job more effectively or easier. And that hopefully means more babies' lives saved.
God, it's been so simple to watch you do this. I don't even think I could do this.
Flexible panel goes on the back.
And does it? I assume it has to be plugged in to work.
Well, I mean, we've got a plug here. Inflating the back up. Helps with airflow and locking it. It should have some battery inside of it. Where's the on button?
Oh, it's got battery as well.
Yeah.
So it is great for transporting.
Yep.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Just simple one button operation, goes through all the tests. You've got very clear instructions for the user, and they can put it to the temperature the baby needs, and it creates a really highly regulated thermal environment so they can spend their energy thriving and growing. So one thing doctors did want was a way of actually telling what the child's temperature was. So you get a skin temperature probe, plug it in, it should automatically come up. It doesn't register until it's about 20 odd degrees. So let's see if it actually does. But that's the temperature in there.
Oh, and that's the skin
temperature. If there's other little things, if there's an emergency, they have an emergency inside the system, they need to get to the baby very, very quickly. You can deflate the back and lift the entire thing off the top and get the baby out.
Incredible. We were blown away by that idea and the fact that this was a truly amazing, purposeful business to be getting behind. Not only are you going to be putting your incubators all over the world, but you're going to be actually saving lives. I mean, that is purpose, like through and through. Are you finding that many other people are interested in your business because it's a purposeful business?
I think it's natural, right? I mean, for me anyway, if I can put investment into something that is really going to do positive for the world, well, why not, right? I mean, as soon as we deliver one incubator, we impact lives. And people have gravitated towards that because the business is purpose-led, but it is still a business as well, It's built into the very DNA of who we are.
It has been a journey and you've never actually lost sight of that purpose. When you actually put that first baby inside the incubator, how did that feel?
I was very kindly invited to St. Peter's NICU to see that, and I really thank the parents for allowing me to actually be part of that moment. I saw the first baby inside of there, which was tiny, and all the pain, the challenges, the difficulties of getting a medical device to the point where you can actually put a patient inside of it, they all just paled into insignificance, and it was just the most surreal moment of my entire life. I find it very difficult to explain. I'm still kind of coming down from that high a little bit. But yeah, it's something I'll never forget.
And now it's not just one baby, you've had multiple babies now inside.
Multiple babies, we've now impacted multiple lives, which is completely crazy to think about. An idea that was on literally my desk as a piece of paper, 5 or so years ago is now actually a real thing. But it wasn't just me, we've got an amazing team at mOm that have really gone into making this a reality, an amazing group of shareholders who've been helping out as well. People like Gemma, incredible design engineer who's been backing the project since pretty much day one and getting it to where it is.
Yeah, Gemma, you're the designer behind this amazing product. What did it take to design something that's so innovative?
I think at mOm, the key has been essentially 3 main things: having the impact so front and center, and then asking the right questions, and then having the skill set to react to that information. I mean, that was there when James originally came up with the idea, and we've really just developed that, ask better questions to a global team of healthcare professionals that we have great relationships with. And then the team at mOm has built, and there's an exceptional team behind this. Like, it takes a wide range of skill sets and expertise to get something like this to market. And yeah, the impact, having those great relationships with a global set of healthcare professionals and the team has been really core to creating such an innovative mOm Essential Incubator.
And you've sort of built purpose into the design as well. How did you go about doing that?
Having those conversations with the healthcare professionals, getting great set of global user needs, really finding those core things that everybody needs, and as a design engineer, taking that information, quantifying it, and embedding it into the design, and then, very importantly, checking that we've met all those needs once we've got the incubator, making sure we can tick everything off.
How different is the design now from the one that I would have seen maybe 5 years ago?
Chalk and cheese, right? Just at the very core, it's the same. The ethos is the same. The point of the system is the same, but how it was executed on changed radically from the very beginning, and that was just through a stage of, well, basically prototyping and failure that we got to where we are now, which is a good product that fits the patient's needs.
It can only get better if you learn from those things.
Yeah.
Kind of...
The hard bit is learning and having your team saying, it's okay, as the original design goes. It's like, oh, very sad.
What other things excite you about sort of design, engineering and technology in the medical world?
For me, I think there's so much potential where you have two fields of expertise meeting. Like here we've got engineering meeting healthcare, and it's just so ripe for innovation. And I think that's what we've really done, which is what makes the mOm Incubator so exciting for me. How about you?
For me, there's a few things. One is I think part of the industry is stuck in some old thinking that can be innovated on if there are people willing to do it. And the second is I think this is genuinely one of the hardest things human beings can do in terms of watching how hard the team have worked and the expertise needed to actually make something like this happen. You know, it's not just our team at mOm, there's also external people, probably hundreds of them, who've actually gone into making this happen. And the sweat, the tears, the difficulties that go into making something that is literally perfect because the regulations demand that. And then having it working in front of your eyes is just, it's as I said before, it's a strange experience, but it's mind-blowing, completely mind-blowing.
Well, really, really well done for persevering, because those times can be really tough, and it'd be much easier to have shut the door and being like, oh, we failed, we can't do this, but you didn't, you carried on, and now you're actually literally saving lives. So really well done, just like amazing, congratulations from me.